Hey guys, this is part 2 of my spring book haul. I still have a lot of books to get through, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. First up, I have this really gorgeous edition of Peter Pan, and I was super excited to pick this up because I've always loved the story of Peter Pan, but I've never actually read the book. Next up, I have Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand, and I actually already read this one, but I didn't have my own physical copy of it. I listened to it on audiobook a few years ago, and oh my gosh, you guys, it was just so good. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads because it is just such a beautiful story. This is a true story set in World War II about Louis Zamperini, and he literally goes from delinquent to Olympian to airman in the United States Army. There are so many things that happen in this book, and it really truly is an extraordinary story. I definitely recommend that you guys read this because this was really, really good. Next, I have The Singer of All Songs by Kate Constable. Calvin has never been beyond the high ice wall that guards the Sisters of Antares from the world of Tremaris. She knows only the rounds of her life as a novice ice priestess, tending her bees, singing her ice chantments, and dreaming. But then Calvin befriends Darrow, a mysterious outlander who appears inside the wall and warns of an approaching danger. To help Darrow to see the world and perhaps to save it, Calvin will leave the safety of the wall for a journey with a man she barely knows, and an adventure as beautiful and dangerous as the music of Chantment itself. This cover is stinking adorable. Then I have Playing with Matches by Carolyn Wall. This story follows Clea Shine, who left her hometown behind years ago in the wake of a tragedy. Things aren't going so great with her husband, so she decides to return to her hometown, where she is reunited with her neighbor who raised her, and she just starts to feel comfortable again. But of course, the ghosts of her past are starting to come to light, and Clea is looking for redemption. I can usually see these big secrets coming from like a mile away, but I always hope that this will be the one that I didn't see coming, but I don't know. Next, I have Roanoke, The Lost Colony by Angela Elwell Hunt. Beautiful, fiery Jocelyn has no desire to join her Uncle John White on his expedition to the wilds of America, so her dying father takes matters into his own hands and has her shanghaied. Thomas Coleman's greatest desire is to go to America, but he has no money, so he strikes a desperate deal with John White. Win Jocelyn's hand in marriage or face 15 years of servitude. Few suspect the tortured secrets hidden in the handsome minister's heart, not the least of which is his growing love for the woman he has agreed to deceive. Together, Jocelyn and Thomas brave an uncertain future in a barbarous land, but they will face far more adventure and danger than either could possibly imagine. This is the first book in a series. I'm not sure how many books are in this series, but if I like this enough, I guess I will pick up the rest at some point. Next up, I have The Crimson Thread by Suzanne Wayne. Then Beauty Sleep, The Storyteller's Daughter, and Golden, all by Cameron Doki. These books are in the Once Upon a Time series, and they are all retellings, and I absolutely love retelling, so I was super excited to pick these up. The Crimson Thread is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin. Golden is a retelling of Rapunzel. The Storyteller's Daughter, I'm not sure what that's a retelling of, but I'll figure it out eventually. And Beauty Sleep is, of course, a retelling of Sleeping Beauty. My gosh, I just love retelling so much. I can't wait to get to these because they're retellings. Next up, I have the 6 books in the 5 Ancestors series by Jeff Stone. All of these are part of the same story, but each one is told from the point of view of a different character. So I'm just going to read the description of the first one for you guys. Kongzhen Temple is destroyed, its secret scrolls stolen, its warrior monks dead, all except for the 5 youngest. Before he dies, the Grand Master of Kongzhen Temple instructs his 5 youngest pupils, each a master of a different fighting style, to search out the secrets of their past. Only then, he tells them, will they be able to avenge their fallen brothers and retrieve the temple's secret scrolls. Fu, a master of the tiger arts, doesn't even know where to start. Wounded and hungry, he stumbles through the forest until he hears a tiger roar in pain. Then instincts take over. These books sound really interesting, and I love the concept of them. They all have different animal faces, like this one's tiger. Second book is monkey. And I'm missing the third book, but that one is snake. I will get that at some point, but this one is crane, this one is eagle, this one is mouse, and the last one is dragon. I'm really interested to read these. Plus, they're really colorful and they're gonna look nice on my shelf. Next, I have The Kitchen God's Wife and The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. The Kitchen God's Wife is basically about a mother and daughter who have a rocky relationship, but when the mother starts to tell her daughter the story of her life, she's basically trying to prove to her that you can claim your future and make it your own. The Joy Luck Club has a really brief description, so I'm just going to read it to y'all. In 1949, 4 Chinese women, recent immigrants to San Francisco, begin meeting to eat dim sum, play mahjong, and talk. United in shared loss and hope, they called themselves the Joy Luck Club. With wit and sensitivity, Amy Tan examines the sometimes painful and often tender and always deep connection between these four women and their American-born daughters. As each reveals her secret, trying to unravel the truth about her life, the strings become more tangled, more entwined. I love dim sum. But, you know, yeah, the story sounds interesting. Next, I have The Winds of Change by Martha Grimes. This is a crime thriller that follows a police officer named Brian who is trying to solve these children's murder cases, and there are a lot of mystery elements to it, but it sounds like it's going to be really sad. I've actually been interested in reading more crime fiction lately, so I'm interested to see how the story turns out. Next, I have The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. I saw the movie a few years ago, and I absolutely loved it. It's just become one of my favorite movies, as sad as it is, but I really wanted to read the book because I love the movie so much. Oh, this is gonna be sad. A most untraditional love story, this is the celebrated tale of Henry de Tamble, a dashing adventuresome librarian who involuntarily travels through time, and Claire Abshire, an artist whose life takes a natural sequential course. Henry and Claire's passionate affair endures across a sea of time and captures them in an impossibly romantic trap that tests the strength of fate and basks in the bonds of love. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. Next, I have The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis, and I was super glad to pick this up because I've been wanting to get this book for a long time. There's not much of a description in this book, so I'm just going to read what it says on the inside flap here. At once wildly comic, deadly serious, and strikingly original, C.S. Lewis gives us the correspondence of the worldly wise devil to his nephew Wormwood, a novice demon in charge of securing the damnation of an ordinary young man. The Screwtape Letters is the most engaging account of temptation and triumph over it ever written. Glad I was able to get this. I love the colors. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Next, I have The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, which is a classic, and I was super happy to find this at one of the X-Library book sales because it's in such great condition, and this is one of the prettiest covers I've seen for this story so far. This is a story of a young lawyer who plans to marry a debutante, but he meets the debutante's cousin, and he's basically falling in love with her. So, not sure how that's gonna turn out. I don't know. This may surprise me, and he may not end up with the cousin. I don't know. I guess I'll have to see. Next, I have Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and oh my gosh, you guys, Pride and Prejudice is like one of my favorite books ever, so of course I'm going to try to read every other Jane Austen book. In all honesty, I only bought this because it's by Jane Austen, so I don't know much about the story, but what I gather from the description is that it's a story about two sisters. I think they are basically representing the qualities of sense and sensibility, so yeah. Next, I have East of the Sun, West of the Moon by Jackie Morris, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, this was a 100% cover buy. I have had this in my wish list for some time, and I found it at an X-Library book sale, so I was happy about that, but I don't actually know what it's about. From the moment she saw him, she knew the bear had come for her. How many times had she dreamt of the bear? Now here he was, as if expelled from her dreams. "I will come with you, bear," she said. It is the beginning of an extraordinary journey for the girl. First to the bear's secret palace in faraway mountains, where she is treated so courteously, but where she experiences the bear's unfathomable sadness and a deep mystery. As the bear's secret unravels, another journey unfolds, a long and desperate journey that takes the girl to the homes of the four winds and beyond, to the castle east of the sun, west of the moon. Yeah, it sounds really good. Oh my gosh, look at the back of this book. Oh, the art is just so nice, so nice. Next, I have When We Were Strangers by Pamela Schoenwalt. Schoenwalt, yeah. This story is set in the 19th century, and it follows a young woman who believes that she is too poor and too plain to marry. So instead of burdening her family, she decides to go off to America and become a seamstress. Everything seems happy at first, but then tragedy strikes and just completely shatters her world, and she's basically trying to piece everything back together. I love stories set in the 19th century, so I'm probably going to enjoy this. So yeah, that was it, but not it at the same time. Still have a lot of books to get through, so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.